What is this little Joel video? Here, it's 4 minutes.
Trepidation about hey everybody, so I've always had kind of a trepidation about the concept of de-radicalization. For those who don't know, in like 2017 to 2019 there emerged a group of YouTubers who people started calling bread tubers, and I was one of them. I was to some extent one of them. I was like a D-list bread tuber. And the main thing about bread tubers, like one of the main sales pitches of breadtube, was de-radicalizing people, making people not radical. And I always hated it. I always hated that. I always saw this claim being made of my work and thought to myself, that ain't true. I'm not de-radicalizing shit. But the thing is, I was never able to put my finger on why I didn't like this word until now, until like 5 minutes ago. And then I scrambled at my phone to make this video like a little content weasel. So here's the thing. Whenever people talk about de-radicalizing, whenever people claim that work like mine de-radicalize them, I always feel this inner angst inside of me, this ghost, that tells me that when people are using the word radical, when they talk about falling down the alt-right pipeline, in many cases, not all, but many cases, what they're talking about is that they, as a 14-year-old boy, watched anti-SJW YouTubers on the internet. That they watched a bunch of cringy anti-SJW YouTubers who said a bunch of lame shit about women and minorities, who enjoyed them, who enjoyed how edgy they were, and who were starting to enjoy that sort of thing. And I gotta be honest with you, I think many of the people for whom this is the case...
When does it get dropped? We're almost halfway through, and this is just set up. When does it...
They just kind of grew up. They just kind of grew up. One day, they looked at Sargon of Akkad and they said, oh, this guy is the stupidest man I've ever seen in my life. Oh, this man is the absolute dumbest human being I've ever seen in my life. And what's more, he's very lame. Like, he's lame and dumb. And you saw that. You were mature enough to see this fact about him. And then you stopped being into it. You stopped being into it. It was a phase. It was a phase where you were watching YouTube content. You know what I mean? And here's the...
Man, I wish I lived in a world where adults could look at an anti-SJW's video and have the maturity to go, wow, this is stupid and dumb. Man, I wish I lived in that world. That'd be amazing. I often watch right-wing videos and think, adults fall for this? But the answer is, I mean, they do, right? You know, it's, I wish they didn't. That'd be nice.
The thing. I'm not trying to illegitimize anybody's political story. I'm not trying to tell you that you're worse or a shitty person because you liked Gamergate in 2016. Like, yes, obviously that sucked. But we can get over that. We can get over that together. But my problem with the narrative of de-radicalization is that it almost causes us to legitimize these political identities. That it treats a 14-year-old boy who is surfing 4chan and watching Sargon of Akkad and Teal Deer as like a real legitimate, meaningful political identity. And it isn't one. If it didn't add up to anything, if you just had some shitty thoughts from YouTube videos that you saw, that's what happened. That's what happened.
Yeah, I feel like we're probably being a little bit naive here, I think. Or maybe like very naive. Yeah, like, obviously, you know, there are people who grow out of it, but there are a lot of people who just fall into this shit when you're young, and then you stay in it, because it's not like adult reactionary politics are less dumb. Like, are we implying that, like, there are no adult reactionaries? There are tens of millions of them in America, and the stuff they listen to and watch are really dumb. So you do, in fact, kind of grow into that. I mean, yeah, they have baby brain, but they've not been alive for 14 years. Got to be careful about them getting in young, right? Because that's like the easiest time to kind of bias a person's politics in a really stupid direction.
Happened to you. And I worry that this narrative of radicalization toward the right followed by de-radicalization kind of causes us to not just be able to sit with the fact that in our past, when we were teenagers, we were just cringe little guys. You were just a cringe guy who liked cringy content and made edgelord jokes and sucked ass. That's what you were. You know, for some of you, that's what you were. On some level, you just gotta live with that now. You gotta own that part of yourself, that everyone does. That 14-year-old inside of you who's just sucked ass, who everyone hated, and who you hated yourself, everyone hated you and you hated yourself, you were lame and everyone hated you, and that's the truth, because you sucked. because you sucked then. I am genuinely happy and moved when I see people developing politically in certain ways because of things I say. And again, I'm not trying to shame anybody in my audience, but at some point, I really think it does benefit us to be able to sit with ourselves and say, I wasn't going on some big political journey. I sucked. I sucked ass. I think there's power in that. A power that is not caught by the word de-radicalize.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like the left's version of praying the problem away. I mean, I know some people do grow up out of it. I'm not disagreeing with that. It just seems more like I don't know why we would like kind of drop our analysis of this as a specific political on-road point when it so obviously is.